All right,
Right.
greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel once again. We have
Indeed.
Ryan
Good
G over
morning.
there. Good morning, yeah.
Good morning.
Uh, and we're about to talk about doppelgangers. Very interesting topic. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Ryan had sent me some posts about, seeing someone from his past, but as a different race. And I was telling him that,
Yeah, it's fucking weird, man. It's been a big constant in my life. But usually when it happens, I always tell Sumit, Uncle Makara, um, that the similarities are very uncanny. Like the manner of
Mhm.
speaking is uncanny. It's just so eerily similar. But when I said a PSA, I mostly meant, talking to the adults, like, hey, maybe, heads up that this is happening. And then Uncle Makari decided, fuck it, might as well do a
Let's let
podcast.
the let's
Let's
let the collective know. Yeah.
let's
Yeah. I just
so
thought it'd be a good topic for today because I didn't think of any others, but this one seemed very spontaneous and like right on the ball with what
yeah,
we need to
so like
focus on.
5 minutes ago, I was still like half asleep in bed and figured, fuck it, I guess we're doing this. Um,
You're right.
so
It's
as
Freedom Friday, so we have to express our freedom like that.
Freedom February, Sinead.
February, my bad.
Exactly, exactly. Um, So the reason why I decided to still go for podcasting is not the doppelgangers, because in this case, clearly doppelgangerism or whatever is a symptom of the matrix cracking.
Yeah,
So what does that mean, Sumit, when a matrix is cracking or the matrix is
right.
glitching?
Right. So they're not like you in some spooky way, right? What I think
Okay.
is really happening is the Matrix likes to use reused like archetypes or
Yeah.
geometry, and then they bring up all these different blueprints, and then basically the timeline that gets the most frequency, that is the one that becomes most energized in a sense. So, especially now with AI and like facial scripting and all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, where it's definitely getting much more common that we notice similar maybe face ratios or eye spacing, or maybe someone is the tyrant archetype or the lover archetype
Right.
showing up in our lives. And it could even go as so far as like the micro expressions in the face or different vibe signatures, right?
Hmm.
Like let's say you were watching uh or what was that guy's name? Uh Not Sneeko.
Schizo bumps.
No, it's not Schizodos either. I was thinking
Uh,
about where the guy he goes into like he does like stunts. You know what I mean? Like
you mean from Jackass?
yes. What was his
I know
name?
you. Fuck,
Starting with S.
let me look it up real quick.
Anyway, that guy, right?
Yeah.
Like he has a very specific tone and like specific way, their mannerisms. And if you see him, right, in a different paradigm or a different context, like someone from, let's say, Egypt who acts like him, you'd be like, wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
Is that guy the real version or is he copying him? Or like the main point is confusion creation, right? I think
Uh-huh.
because it's compressing, it's reusing the assets, and then it's spawning familiar models um, in a way that your archetypes are running adjacent to you. Uh,
So
yeah.
would it then mean that because the matrix is cracking, confusion is being created so that you,
Steve-O.
Steve-O, that's the one.
Mhm.
You should definitely watch his documentary or autobiography one time. It's fascinating. Anyway, the
Mhm.
point that or the question that I'm meaning to ask is, so are you saying because the matrix is cracking and we're seeing such symptoms like a doppelganger activities, um, would it then mean that confusion is being shown to make you either A, controllable, or B, get you back on the rails somehow. Is that because that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, well, it happens through different ways. Like for some, it might be like a fragmentation of the self, so that it's more easily controllable, right?
Right.
Like in gaming engines, sometimes when a memory desyncs and then characters can suddenly duplicate, that could
Yeah.
also be a possibility. Like if this reality was a layered simulation, you'd have like cache errors or like parallel process overlaps and stuff like that happening. It's kind of like a video game.
Uh-huh.
Another way I think, well, to talk about the shadow, right? And the Carl Jung suggested that the shadow is like our repressed self. So it's
Yeah.
like it could also be esoterically seen as our compensatory timeline self. So it's the version of us that we didn't choose, but the traits didn't integrate. So it's showing up in another timeline with another
Yeah.
person or an
Uh,
identity fragment. And then, so yeah, the psyche doesn't fragment, it cross-references, right? Um,
mm,
let's just check YouTube.
all right.
Hey there, Ellie. Yeah, of course I'm using our cup. Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. So in Norse lore, they also have this thing called Vardagor, which could you look that up? Actually, I got this from Odin a few days ago. I'll paste it in the thing.
Iced it.
Paste it. So this is where like people would hear your footsteps or your voice or like your mannerisms, and it's kind of like time buffering in a certain sense. Like it's reality rendering your character model before your consciousness logs into the program type of thing. So what
Let's
does it
see
say?
here. Vadagor, Norwegian, or Vard, Swedish, is a Scandinavian folklore concept describing a ghostly premonition of a person arriving where their footstep, voice, or
Hmm.
appearance are heard or seen before they actually appear. It is considered a forerunner or protective spirit that precedes a person, often mistaken for the real person at first. Yeah,
Hmm.
I've had a few situations like this.
Yeah. Also, in what if really intense emotional timelines also generate tulpas or tulpic echoes of
I
you?
can imagine. I mean, imagine a heartbreak. That's fucking intense.
Yeah.
Or
Or
some trauma event.
extreme trauma or obsession over something, yeah. And what if the mind can like externalize identity under pressure, right? Like what if it during a trauma, right? It's like the Matrix forgot to merge your save file or something. And
Yeah,
so all this trauma is kind of like splitting the characters or fragmenting it. But I've understood something like suffering, the reason why we suffer so much is from the identification to the storyline, to the narrative that this is happening
right,
to me, this is bad,
right,
etc., right? So, but once we remain as I am presence, then we don't need to face that similar suffering. And of course, that's easier said than done, right?
right,
Uh, to be in that energy because you could have a like you could be dying in that moment, but if you remain I am presence, you wouldn't be attached to your death. You would just, you just go through the process of it in a certain sense. But if you start fearing it and gripping and thinking of all your people and trying to hold on to that, it's going to be more tough, more painful, more um, kind of stacking in terms of that. Um, So I don't know why that's coming up, but I think that's really important for us to remain the I am presence and not get distracted by these doppelgangers. Almost like in the Matrix, right? The woman with the red dress or something like this
right,
is that concept of like the distraction or the thing that's bringing you away from pure coherence, right? And I think this world nowadays is so lopsided, like they're too logical or they're too emotional.
right.
So and I was sharing this visualization the other day. Like, I imagine half of my body is red, half of my body is blue. And then it all becomes a violet flame or purple internally. And I've been doing that for like 2 weeks now and seeing really good results with it. And it's bringing me back into my coherence pattern again.
Hmm.
So I'd highly recommend. people to try that out. Yeah.
Well, there is a scene in JJK where I believe the character is called Ghetto. Not Ghetto, Gojo. Where he ha his
Oh, you mean Jujutsu Kaisen,
Kaisen
right?
indeed,
Yeah.
where he combines uh the uh the blue pad and red pad into the absolute void of purple. And it
Wow.
just destroys and anything in its path. Now, I won't spoil
That's
anything. Watch it,
new
please.
art piece idea. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Look, like a lot of the things that I've created art-wise in the past was based on that. But the point that I'm trying to make is definitely watch that show. Any sorcerer show is worth a watch. Now, to bring it
Yeah.
back to what you just said on detaching from identifying with said glitch.
Hmm.
Um, This kind of relates back to when we were in Sedona and we're drawing out our ideas on what we are even going to do in Sedona, what's the main
Right.
concept, and we then went on a full, I don't know, 5, 6 hour turning, pretty much conspiratorial,
Yeah.
turning
Yeah.
theories into practice and trying to understand from our perspectives um, what the Matrix is, if there truly is something. And one of the things that I
Yeah.
realized was Matrix can also be seen as a mother, a womb, right?
Right.
What you give the womb,
Matter.
you will,
Yeah.
right? And if the womb has its own mind, hive mind, womb mind, right?
Mm.
There might be moments where it does its own thing.
Yeah.
And maybe the glitch is merely something that you specifically might be experiencing or we are experiencing together as the human hive
Yeah.
mind, right?
Right. And that's where you get like Mandela effect and those things happen.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like that's a movie. I don't remember Shaquille O'Neal being in that movie. I could distinctly remember that black comedian actor being in that. And then when
Mm.
I look back, it's like, when did Shaquille play this movie? When did this happen?
Mm.
And it's come to the point as well where I'll look back in my life and my parents don't remember me doing certain things, but I did very distinctly remember going through something. I'm like, I
Mm.
swear you were there. And it's
Yeah.
almost like either this is a result from us timeline hopping so much because the way we like do things is
Mm.
scoping what we want to reach and focusing on the minimum required things that we need to do to get there and just fucking giving it the best quality that we can give it.
Mm.
And then
Yeah.
suddenly, things just fucking work out.
Yeah.
But I can also imagine because we are moving, there's a vacuum that needs to be filled. So isn't it obvious that if you create a vacuum, there's no such thing as a vacuum in nature? So there is a glitch experience that needs to be corrected, of course, corrected.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just talking bullshit, but this is the things that are coming up for me.
Mm. Have you ever had a timeline glitch before where let's say that you're about to act, and
Yep.
then instead of going out of body, you see a different version of you, and then you forget like which version of you is supposed to act right now, and it
Yep.
kind of splits in your psyche. Yeah, I've had little moments like that too, where it's very obvious that we have more than one body. We have an etheric body, we have a solar
Yep.
body, we have an astral body. Something else is going on, and in Egyptian metaphysics, they say that the Ka was the is the like the duplicate body made out of subtle substance, right? So if you feed it with offerings, attention, alignment, then it's basically starts working as a double, right? And it's not a
Hmm.
double like a ghost, it's more like an energetic template that's running parallel to your physical avatar. So it's like if the temple glitches, the body feels it. If the body glitches, the temple reacts. Uh,
Remember the time we were in Costa Rica and we went to the rivers in
yeah,
La Rivas,
yes.
right? And we did like a 24-hour fast, and then the herbist came, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I distinctly remember us doing rapid and I believe combo,
Mm-hmm.
the tree frog poison medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the final enter dosage, right? And I remember laying in bed and I could feel that I had more than just one body. Like you had my body, but it
Mm-hmm.
was like I was like you know those Russian dolls, like a body within a body within a body, just being um
What was the
just
Russian doll called, Ellie? Matrushka or something? Something like that. Yeah.
I have no
Mat
idea. I
Matrushka.
Matrushka.
Some maybe something like that.
Welcome
It's
to
called.
Primal Sutra, where we learn languages as
We
well.
do actually a
We
lot.
do.
Yeah.
Because I'm like what? Like Dutch Indian, you're like international Indian or whatever. Oh
Yeah.
no, I'm also technically Caribbean Indian as well because I grew up. I yesterday I found out my one of my great grandmothers is Guyanese.
Damn.
So so
You should really do like a 21 and me or some kind of like
yeah. But
thing at some point.
the thing is, and this is completely not related to the topic we're talking about.
Mm.
I don't want 21andMe to have my DNA data.
Right. That's the thing too,
It's
right? That's true.
that's if I'm gonna do it, I
That's
need to
mad
do it
sketchy, yeah.
one some organization that I can
Like
trust.
I saw there was this one lab who's like trying to improve people's gut health, and they asked people to mail them sh their own shit, right? Like in postage, so they can do the test. And for some reason, I found that very sketchy and very bizarre, especially for the post people who have to deliver the shit.
Interesting.
You
Well, I
know
have some news for you, Sumit. We have
what?
this in the Netherlands too. Like the
Mm,
hospital can ask
yeah.
for your
Stool samples or
a
whatever.
stool sample indeed.
Yeah.
You get a very specific envelope, which is extremely
Right.
contained. I won't go into the details naturally, as this is not a part of this podcast.
Right.
But yeah, you will be surprised. You will be surprised. Now, to bring it back to the topic of the matrix
Yeah.
glitching,
Yeah.
um, what do you do when you have a funny suspicion that there's like a weird misstep in your life?
Mm,
My opinion is become aware and observe and breathe. Breathe.
yeah.
Just t take a second and breathe. Observe what's happening.
Mm,
I mean, look at when we were in, I don't know, be it Costa Rica or New Zealand, where it's sometimes we just accidentally drive by a haunted house, not realizing it's a haunted house, and you could fucking feel the heebie-jeebies and maybe
exactly.
the mirror fogs up or whatever and shit like that. And yeah, it's not necessarily a glitch in the matrix, but more
Yeah.
so an unexpected event. Then you must learn at minimum to calm your nerves. If you can't calm your nerves, you're gonna lose that fight. All
Would this
fi
be
but
also a kind of, well, what's coming up for me as you're saying that is like, wouldn't this be like a way for us to combine the metaphysical with the physical? Like, because if the Matrix is matter and it's material and we are spiritual beings originally,
yeah,
that means that we have power over the Matrix, don't we? In a certain sense. Wow, that's deep. But
that's what she
it
said. But yeah,
it if you
sorry guys,
understand,
it's
like
Simon.
I am not like the Matrix attacks the illusion that I am my story, I am my face, I am this unique avatar, I'm the skin, right? However, if you understand I'm the operator, not the skin, that completely shatters the Matrix paradigm because you're not clinging to the avatar anymore, right? The avatar is going through all this fucking roller coaster, but you can just be the witness.
Let's give it a little bit more body. There are forces that have vested interest in you believing this. Now, it's not necessarily
Right.
propaganda. The pain you feel is real to your body. It is a motherfucker. However, it is in mastering matter. I believe is part of the course, part of whatever you to learn. Else, you would not have been either A, reincarnated or even born in this world. That's what I believe. And to continue on what you said, if you are born in this world as whatever creature, I believe it is your right to understand why you've been granted a certain type of body and explore it. Hence,
Yeah.
the theme of Freedom February as well. Find what sets you free, find what feeds your soul, your body, your mind. Yeah, that type of
Mm,
shit. You don't. What I also believe, and if I look at from a perspective of the forces that aim to suppress us, most of them try to coerce us into chaining ourselves.
yeah.
Now, I'm choosing my words very carefully for obvious reasons.
Right.
Um, it's the same thing as kind of gaslighting us into our own entrapment.
Yeah.
And some of us have been in enough relationships, be it in love affairs as well as business or professional, where we've been talked into doing something only to later have the chair removed from under us, if I'm using the
Yeah.
idiom correctly.
Yeah. Rug under.
Dude,
Yeah.
right, that's
Something
the
like
one.
that.
That's the
Yeah.
one. I'm mixing
Rug pulled from
idioms.
under us. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so what do you do then? The only thing I believe you can do in a then and moment is naturally learn from it and learn to calm your nervous system and recognize patterns. One pattern being
Mm,
the matrix is clearly glitching.
mm.
Do we have more evidence of the of seeing that the matrix is glitching, Sweet.
Well, it's tough because like someone could say like, "Oh, I lost my nice pair of shoes." It's probably a timeline edit. It's like it's a parallel. And then he just lost it, right?
To
And he's
to
just
be
making up a
fair,
story.
to be fair, I haven't seen those yellow beads in like a year. I have absolutely no idea where they are. Good that you're
Right.
bringing this up.
Well, sometimes that does happen, and that is the case, but oftentimes we can gaslight ourselves into thinking that there's a
Okay.
doppelganger or there's a timeline shift happening
Hmm.
and get into the spiritual language rather than just observing and like flowing and adapting through it that's
Right.
needed at that time. So I think one of the things to notice is that uh, your nervous system, when it sees another human being that has your attributes or qualities or things like this, it oftentimes brings up this idea of cloning, right? As well. And a lot of celebrities nowadays are talking openly about cloning,
Fair enough.
right? And that they've kind of also figured something out because they've been deep into the public eye, right?
Yeah.
And it's very interesting when we pull up photos of different people and we see that the face is completely shifted now. It could be a botched surgery or Botox or other factors, of course.
Naturally.
However, yeah, something about, I mean, there was this recent one for, I think, what did I see this? Like Selena Gomez or someone? Or
That's
was it
one.
Justin? Well, Justin Bieber is related to all of this in some ways, but we're not going to touch that.
That's
Uh,
we're not good.
yeah,
This is for a private Zoom call.
yeah,
This is like, nah, we're
right,
gonna
right,
get
right.
in
Yeah,
so much trouble if you bring
yeah.
this
We
up.
can't reveal too much more about that. Let's
It,
just
but I will say this. Reality is very strange, even more strange
stranger
than the
than fiction.
picture and our imagination. We
Totally.
have found out things that not only can't we talk about it out in the open, uh, it's even hard to bring it up during private Zoom calls because it's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking
Mm.
ridiculous. It is strange beyond comparison. And to be fair, I personally believe it's fucking stupid. Maybe I don't understand what's happening because that's also a factor sometimes.
Yeah.
And then when you find out these things, you're like, isn't any fucking wonder why, how we ended up in we as human beings just end up in these situations. And then you realize if human
Mhm.
beings have existed, in its current biological form, at least for, let's say, 10,000 years or 100,000 years. That at
Yeah.
minimum means that these things have been happening for at least that long. So it wouldn't be that strange to say that this these things that we're hearing have been on a loop for a near constant. And the
Yeah.
first step to all of this is again becoming aware of, what's happening, and why we're playing this game. At the end of the day, they're trying to control. It's all about control. Now, the
Yeah.
Matrix, I believe, and do correct me if I'm wrong, Smith, it's its own entity, or either its own entity
Yeah.
or a gathering of womb-like entities. If you look at the JJK universe, Jujutsu Kaisen, a lot of the powerful beings tend to be womb related. Looking at domain expansion, it's always about um the aspect of creation and domination and conquering, etc.
Yeah.
Um, so what can you do given this situation? Become aware. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a good place to end it. All right, guys, thank you so much for tapping in. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. If you have more questions, further questions, you can always message myself or Ryan G. Please check
Or
the
join the
description.
Telegram.
Join the Telegram, send us a message on Instagram.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's get started on this process because, wow, there's a lot of big shifts happening all over the planet right now. So if you're chiming
Mhm.
into this frequency, welcome, welcome. And
Indeed.
see you guys.
See
Peace.
you.